I used to work at Vodacom a few years ago, and this guy, this guy comes in. He walks up to me real determined, like someone had taught him how to walk. Just, some people just walk like someone's like, "This is how you walk." He came in, and then he comes to me and he says, "I'm from airtime," and I was like, "Huh? Sorry, sir." "I'm from airtime." And I was like, okay, I'm like smelling. Maybe this guy's drunk or something. Nope, he's not drunk, but definitely smells like he wears nappies for adults, and this baby's full, you know. And he keeps going, "Airtime," and I was like, what is happening? Why is this person here talking to me? I don't understand. Is this real? Are you a real person talking to me? Am I dreaming? What the hell's going on? Eventually, I was like, oh, airtime. He's like, yeah, airtime. And I was like, okay, sorry. Jeez, man. Yeah, mall things are crazy. Anyways, working in the mall is weird, but anyways, let's start the show. Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome back to the show. And it's always fun to be here. I really do enjoy doing this show. Such a interesting experience that it has been so far. And you know what? This happened like last week. For the first time ever, dude. For the first time ever, I got recognized. you know. and obviously I'm not letting that, get to my head, because ego is the enemy, But it was like it's a really nice feeling when someone's like, "Hey man, I've seen your videos before." I'm like, and we've never met. It's like, oh, that's awesome. So shout out to what's his name, Michael. Shout out to Michael. I'll never forget you, Michael. I will never forget you. But anyways, so that was cool. That's been going on. I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon, though. Hopefully, in the future, that'll happen. I don't know why, but it does feel good, But I don't think you should entertain it because that's ego, man. That's a really dangerous place to be, and I never want to allow myself to become arrogant because arrogance can also breed resentment, And I want neither of those activities, neither of those emotions in my mind or mindsets or modes of thinking. I want neither of that. I just want to be grateful. I just want gratefulness and thankfulness and just peace and indifference and passion about things that I am passionate about. Not passionate about things that you're not passionate about, Like people get angry about traffic or they get upset, standing in the queue at, on a busy day, at a supermarket. Like, come on, man. Or you get upset at the lady that's cleaning the floor. Like, dude, she's just doing her job, man. How can you be angry about that, Or you can be angry when you don't sound human and you ask a Vodacom employee to give you airtime, but you're like, airtime. Like, I don't know what you're saying, dude. But anyways, so yeah, it's been a welcome. Yeah, I was still welcoming to the show. Welcome, and if you haven't already, my friends, my supporters, or rather supporters of the show, please just hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you enjoy the show, share it with a friend. Tell them about it. Follow my socials because I also post some clips there. Those are easier to share, of course. And I love that we live in this time where such a thing is possible. It's absolutely incredible, Because I'm just trying to grow and develop the show. Developing myself in terms of being more eloquent, being more fluently communicative, being more effective in my speech, more precise in my speech, and being able to carry across my ideas and my thoughts in a more coherent way, even though I can get sidetracked really easily, and that's okay, that's just the adventure, that's just the wave you get to ride when you're having conversation. And of course, that's going to culminate to, having guests on the show, and then having a combination of solo episodes and guest episodes, and because I do think that that's special. I think it's a really special thing, and maybe even a rare thing, in day-to-day life among normal people such as you and I. Well, I'm not normal, but that's not a good thing. But having that time and space just to be yourself, to let go of all the nonsense, not even to start off with small talk. Screw that. I don't want small talk, dude. Let's just, even if I don't know you, you don't need to tell me about the weather or what. Let's just talk about something that is more substantial or more substantive. Yeah, I'm not sure what's the difference between those two words, but okay. Have you ever spoken to someone who talks like that? Like, hello, oh, that drives me insane, dude. I can't believe that. The thing is, nobody talks like that naturally. It's a learned thing, You basically have developed on purpose a speech impairment, a speech disorder. You're like, hello, guys, and that's why that show, that Kardashians show is the worst, No, it's not the only reason that it's the worst. It's the worst because you see these, ladies really just hate on each other, and take and take active steps to express that hate. It's pretty rough, and the public just eats it up, But okay, anyways, I'm not gonna go into that. But let's go into it. I wonder who watches the show more. Is it women or men? And I like to make jokes about the differences between men and women. I think it's very funny, especially we live in a time now where there's this narrative that's being pushed about men and women being the same. I understand that men and women need to have equal rights. That's 100%. I agree fully with that. I do think that the way we treat men and the way we treat women should not be the same. I think women would absolutely hate that because men get treated pretty roughly, especially with each other, and we don't mind because that's just how we are, as men. But so yeah, I don't think, but that's not a conversation that I want to get involved in, anyways. I mean, geez, it's really not worth discussing. It's such a politicized and such an inflammatory topic. It's just off-putting, man. If it's become polarizing and politicized and all that, like, it really puts me off. The appeal, it loses its appeal immediately, So I hope that a lot of my personal interests don't become politicized or polarizing or anything like that, because I like the idea of unity among people. I don't like the idea of division, I like the idea of diversity, but I don't like the idea of false diversity, I'll give you a good example of false diversity. So when I was in grade 9, I was about 14, 15 years old, and I was selected, and not really selected, I was asked, can you be a part of the Southern Free State tennis team? Now, I'm not that good at playing tennis, right? Definitely not at the level that people who deserve to play in that team. Oh, I'm definitely not there. Like, I'm down here, dude. They're up there, right? And I was asked to be a part of that. And of course, I was like, you know what? This is going to be a fun experience. I'll go for it. I'll do it. But the more I thought about it, it's like, am I the diversity choice here? Is it because I'm not part of a certain ethnic group, or I am part of a certain ethnic group, that I'm now you have been asked to be a part of this team? And I spoke to the manager of the team, the person at school, not the manager of that team, but our tennis team's manager. I spoke to her, and she was like, yeah, absolutely, you're being asked to do this because they don't have enough people of color on the team. And I was like, oh man, and I'm really like, because I just wondered, like, I never did any trials. I never you know, I've never been proven as a game winner, as a match winner. So why on earth would I be chosen? It didn't make sense. But I'm just, and I'm still like that actually. I'm just down for everything. Like if it's an experience I've never had before, and it's not gonna do any harm to me or to anybody that I care about, or put anyone's life at risk or myself at risk, I'm gonna try it out. So yeah, I'm just that open-minded type of person. I really do. I do think I'm very open to new experiences, whether that produces negative emotion or not. But it's interesting, right? I don't like that false diversity stuff, man. And you see it in the labor market in South Africa, unfortunately, where before your qualifications and your experience and your expertise and your knowledge and your ability and your competence, before any of that is considered, your ethnicity is the first criteria. I don't like that, dude. Because what are we doing, man? It's your ethnicity, then it's your gender, and then we're gonna look at your qualifications. Like, man, what are we doing here? But yeah, anyways, I don't want to get into all that political talk, man. I think it's all stupid anyway. So, but yeah, how's it going with me, man? Oh, you know what? Lately, I've just been on such a good buzz. Like let's say from Monday, dude, I have been doing cold showers. Whoo, and it is rough. you know, like I used to do it in the summer, and then when it started getting colder, there was a point where I was like, I don't think it's responsible for me to do this, you know? And that's just my thinking. It's not based in any scientific fact, because actually, even in winter, you are able to take cold showers. It's just gonna feel worse. So I think that was maybe just my inner wuss, let's call it, just to use good language and not to drop any profanity on the show. I don't want to do profanity. I want to keep it clean so that I can get monetized on my channel at some point from YouTube. That'll be fun. And that's why I need you to subscribe and watch and share the show and let people know, share it with a friend. All of that will make a huge difference. But anyways, so I was I'm there in the shower, and there's a spot in the shower where there's like a there's like a little corner where the water isn't touching, right? And I just have the cold water tap on, and I've decided to do this. It was my choice. I did it by my own free will to take a cold shower. And I told myself, you're not going to allow yourself some comfort. Comfort can be harmful. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, and I'm in the shower. I'm not touching the water. The water's not touching me, dude. And the tap is open. And dude, for like 10 minutes, I know I'm wasting water, but 10 minutes have gone by, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. And it's like, it's 10 minutes of, okay, 3, 2, 1. Wait, no, okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay. No. Okay. I have to do this. Time is running out. Okay. All right. Maybe if I do a higher count. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. That didn't work. Okay. 10. And it just went on for like 10 minutes, dude. Eventually I was like, you know what, dude, just do it. I didn't even count. I was like, and then, and it's so cold. You have like, your brain just, I don't know, your brain stops working, dude. All of a sudden I had an Irish accent. I'm like, oh, bloody hell, it's too cold. I don't even know if that's an Irish accent, to be honest, but my accent legit changed just out of that reaction. Because it's not hot, like weather-wise, it's not that hot. So I remember when I started doing it, it had started getting hot, that was like last year or sometime, or the year before, I'm not sure, but yeah, and the water's not hot at all. It's super cold, and it's so cold that it hurts, but it is good for you. I learned recently. I listen to a lot of podcasts, so sometimes you listen to a podcast where it's a scientist and this person does a lot of research and they discover a lot of things and they read a lot of things about other scientists' discoveries and all that stuff, especially with the brain, because that's a bit of a fascination of mine, is how our brains work, right? And this guy says he he says when you do something that you don't want to do, that you feel, I hate this thing, but is good for you, there is a part of your brain that is activated that gives you a longer term overall healthy, mental wise thing. Like you're building something very important in your brain. And now I forgot, I wanted to give you the exact thing that it does to your brain. um But basically, it makes you more resilient. It also gives you a long term dopamine kick, which is important, because dopamine is the feeling you get when you just won the lotto, or it's that positive emotion hormone that kicks in. Um, but it also puts your body in a state of readiness. So I think it's dopamine, adrenaline, and what's the other one? Neuroadrenaline. Man, I don't know. Like science. I don't know. Science words. But those three are activated within your brain. And what adrenaline does is it takes away pain, first of all. That's a good thing. And then it also causes your body to be more alert, your brain to be more active and alert and aware. It heightens your senses. And it also puts your body into a state of readiness to move, right? And then the neuroadrenaline, I think it's called neuroadrenaline, does that to your body, to your brain, the way that the adrenaline does it to your body. The neuroadrenaline does it to your brain. And then the dopamine, I don't know what the dopamine does in such a scenario. But basically, when you do something like this, especially with cold water, and cold water has had proven benefits, I've noticed a decrease in my response to negative emotion. I don't really have those responses much anymore. I've also noticed that I am much more energetic, and that's a good thing. Especially, doesn't matter if you're tired or if you are full of energy already. That cold shower, it wakes you up, man. You are fully awake and you're ready for the day, and that's a really cool thing. So that's what I've been doing, man. It's been a really fun, interesting experience for me. I used to do it, but when it was winter, I was like, screw that, but now I'm back into it, and it's really fun. And yesterday it rained, right? And I was like, should you do this? And then I didn't. And I was kind of disappointed with myself, because of that brain reward that you give yourself is really, it's so healthy for you. Builds your confidence, builds your ability to handle stress, when you have like a workout and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, and it's brutal and it's hectic. And that's how I feel every morning. But then when you do it, you feel so powerful. And that's how I feel right now, And that's a good feeling. I think that's a good way to, it's a good feeling to have when you need to be alive, when you need to do stuff, when you need to get things done, follow a process of things that you need to take care of, things that you need to do, So yeah, I did that and I feel good about that. I really do. So yeah, that's a good feeling. And what else, man? What else has been going on with me? Oh, you know what? For the first time ever, I did groceries by myself. Just a solo supermercado. I don't know. I'm trying to speak Spanish, but I'm not learning Spanish. So why am I doing that? But anyways, so sorry. Had a bit of a tickle in the throat there. A little fairies doing this in my throat. But anyways, yeah. So I did solo groceries, and that is quite an experience. Okay, I say solo, but I had my little sister with me. But I also realized never take kids with you to do groceries. They are there with an agenda. They are there with an agenda, dude, and they're gonna be quiet the whole time. Not helping. Not helping. Like first she wanted to push the trolley. And so I let her, but then the trolley got too heavy for her, which I get. And then I was like, okay, let me push the trolley. Now I'm pushing the trolley, and she comes up next to me, and she's like, also wants to not push the trolley, but she wants to have her hands on the trolley. So now I have to make space with her. So now I'm like, I'm pushing like, my hands are on like 75% of the bar, and she's got the other 35%. And but I'm like, I can feel like, okay, it's only me pushing, and as a result the trolley keeps like, pulling to the right, because I'm on the left. So obviously when I push, it's from the left side, it's obviously going to turn right. And I'm like, okay, you're going to have to let go, because we can't do it like this. She's like, no, but I want to hold on. I'm like, please don't, and I told her, okay, you just go ahead of the trolley or hold the front of the trolley or whatever. But yeah, but kids, man, they get in the way. Anyways, so then I see her, and every time, like, we're going through all the aisles, because we have quite a grocery list. It's a family-sized grocery list. Going through the grocery list, and then she keeps eyeing the till. You know what the till? You know what's there at the till, right? Chocolates and sweets. That's what's there, right? You go there, all these temptation items, and every time we pass by the till, she's looking. She's like, and I can see her. She's eyeing something. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's why she wanted to come, because doing groceries is a very mundane activity. You're not gonna. It doesn't require any stimulating thought. You're literally just finding items that are on a list. So now every time, then I see her eye the chocolates. I'm like, okay, this is why she's here. And then I was waiting for her. We get done with the groceries. All of a sudden, she has a huge burst of energy. She's like, "Are we done?" And then I was like, "Yeah, we're done." And then we go to the till, and then she's like, "Can I have a chocolate?" And I saw it coming a mile away, but I couldn't resist to say no. I couldn't say no. And I think that's just what the effect little girls have. Like, if you have a little sister, if you're a guy and you have a little sister, dude, you can't resist such a question. Can I please have a chocolate? And you're like, okay. And then you do it, But yeah, anyways, so cool. So that was done. I didn't complete the list though, because they didn't have everything at that particular supermarket that I was at. And then I went to a different place, and this time truly by myself, just to get some meat and stuff. And I went there, and then I get to the till, and I really have sympathy for people who work in retail, because I used to work in retail. It's a boring job. For all intents and purposes, it's quite boring. You're sitting around and standing around most of the time, if you're not working with clients. And the amount of time you work with clients versus the amount of time that you are... Oh my word, I'm so sorry. I don't even know why I'm yawning. And anyways, the amount of time that you spend with clients versus the amount of time you spend by yourself, there's a big difference. So anyway, so I'm there in the morning, and normally during the week in the morning, a supermarket is not going to be super busy. But anyway, so I go there, and I get to the till, and this lady, she's chatty, and I'm not in the mood for chattiness, So she's like, I got a bunch of noodles, and she's like, "Oh, you don't like cooking?" And I was like, "What?" Because I'm like, my mind is not. I'm just here to pay for stuff. She's like, "Oh, you don't like cooking?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Because of all the noodles." And like, her energy is weird, man. And I was like, no. My siblings like to eat noodles for lunch. I don't like noodles. That stuff is factory food. It's plastic. I don't want to eat it. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then she changes languages, dude. She changes languages. She speaks to me in Afrikaans. She's like, "Ek wonder gaan het reën." And I was like, "What is happening right now?" Then I'm like, "Yeah, ek hoop so, you know." And then she's like, "Hoekom hoop jy so?" And I was like, "Because of sinus." "Oh, you have sinus?" You know? And she kept changing languages, dude. And it was so weird and it's difficult to keep up because it takes a while to get into a Afrikaans mode, you know? And then it switching back to English is easy, but then switching back to Afrikaans, oh man, this is a tough one, you know? So I was getting annoyed. I could feel it inside. I'm getting annoyed at this person, you know? And she's being nice, you know? But yeah, oh my word, let's not have that. Please, just let me get my purchase over and done with, and then I'll go, you know? And yeah, so that was that. That was my little grocery adventure, little gross adventure. But anyways, so yeah, that was what I got up to lately. What else, man? What else has been going on? I am convinced. I am 100% convinced now, right? That if you watched the previous episode, and you're welcome to go check it out. If you haven't already, please do check it out. But in the previous episode, I mentioned that I believe that there's a conspiracy. Not a conspiracy, but I believe that they are testing either weapons or some sort of machine to control the weather, right? To create certain weather patterns, to manipulate the weather in some way or whatever. I do believe that this is a thing that people are doing, right? And I'm not going to go into all the reasons why I think so, or why I originally started suspecting that, but you can go check out the previous episode. It's actually quite interesting. Anyways, so now I think about it, right? Think about it some more. And we have this freak weather that's going on, right? And even yesterday, dude, I got a news report, just a weather forecast, when you scroll through Facebook, a weather forecast that it's going to be snowing in the southern or eastern part of the Free State and parts of the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. If you don't know already, I live in South Africa. There's no more load shedding here, which is cool. If you don't know what load shedding is, I don't know, man. Check out episode 3 or 2 of the show. Yeah, if you haven't already. But anyways, or don't, do whatever you want. I don't know. But what was I saying again? Just got sidetracked there. The weather. So yeah, so I see this weird weather forecast, and I'm like, how is it gonna snow, dude? It's September, and we're past mid-September, so we're definitely now fully heading into, spring. How is it snow? This is not a place. This climate is not really for spring snow. That's a winter activity. That's a winter thing. And winter was not snowing this much, okay? And I know you could say, oh, but what about global warming? What about climate change? Yeah, fine, I'll give you that. But it's still weird weather, dude. You have to take into account that this weather is weird, right? And then also because of Boulder Island that disappeared since 2012 from Google Maps, it's gone. There's nothing there. It's just ocean. But people who travel in those parts, they see the ocean. They see that island there all the time. And NASA has been admitting that they've been doing some experiments close to our, part of the ocean, close to South Africa. It's weird stuff that's going on, But yeah, so I think definitely that the weather is being manipulated. And not just that, they do have machines, right? Like in really warm, like in the Middle East, some of those wealthier Middle Eastern countries, right? Like Saudi Arabia and the UAE and those places, right? Those people, why am I yawning so much? You boring me. Or am I boring you? I don't know. Anyways, they have machines that can create rain, right? Just make the clouds a bit denser, put some more moisture into the air, increase precipitation, and let it rain, right? They have that machine. So I wonder where else is that technology developing towards, right? And I believe now, I really do believe, especially after learning that they have these machines, this technology exists, to manipulate the weather for positive reasons. But we all know that things that are used for positive reasons will not only ever be used for positive reasons, right? A knife is good because it helps us to chop vegetables, but a knife is also used to murder people. So there's always going to be those extremes when it comes to human beings. So yeah, I think that that's what's happening. That's why it's going to be snowing at the end of September. What the hell is going on? Someone please tell me. Oh man, I would really like to know. The other thing is, so I've been watching the show on Netflix. I'm a huge fan of documentaries, and I've always watched like World War II documentaries mostly because I'm fascinated with that part of history. The fact that it happened, how did it happen, why did it happen, why did people the German government create or perform such terrible atrocities on fellow human beings. The nature of hatred, the nature of a belief system that comes from one man's ideology. It was super weird stuff, man. And it's like I find it all fascinating. Even just the different styles of war and how people were victorious over certain battles, and just all the events leading up to it, all the events that took place during it. And then I never really got into what happened after World War II, you know? And basically, I'm watching this documentary. It's called Turning Point, and it's like about the Cold War, right? And the Cold War is just basically this competition between the Soviet Union and the United States, developing bigger and bigger nuclear weapons and all those kinds of things, because what happened was after World War II, right? And the way World War II ended was crazy. Okay, first of all, the Soviet Union on one side, the Allies on the other side, they came together on Berlin to basically end the war that was in Europe. But World War II was not just in Europe, right? It was also in Asia. And there'd been a lot of fighting. Japan tried to take over or invade, or tried to conquer, rather, China. And the US was having none of that, because they also took over some key islands that the US was in control of, right? So, and obviously they bombed, they basically attacked Pearl Harbor, which is the reason that the US came into World War II in the first place, right? So the way the war ended was that the Japanese did not want to surrender, no matter how much fighting was going down, no matter how many people were dying, and they were gonna lose the war anyways. It's just that it took a lot of American lives in those battles, And then, like on Okinawa, there was so much, death on both sides. Even though the Americans won, they lost so many people. So it's just not worth the human life, which is ironic, because then they were like, okay, we created an atomic bomb, and then they dropped it on Nagasaki. Okay, no surrender. Okay, sharp, drop one on Hiroshima. Okay, sharp, now we surrender, And then the Soviets were like, hey man, what was that? You guys didn't tell us you had those bombs, because at the time the Soviet Union were allies with Great Britain and with the US, right? So then Stalin's like, hey man, what the hell was that, dude? Where did that come from? And then obviously the US were like, yeah, we created this bomb, and it's like a flex, it's weird energy. It's like basically just telling you, hey man, like, don't mess with us because we have serious firepower, that was basically the message that the Soviets received. And sorry, am I snotty? I don't know. But basically, what was I saying again? Just got sidetracked by the idea of snot on my nose. Wouldn't that be embarrassing? Imagine if like a nice green boogie was just chilling here, and I'm just like, and then Stalin, and But anyways, so what happened was, the Soviet Union was like, nah, man, I don't like that, because they had this idea of expanding their own empire, taking over their own, so there was tensions, right? But they also, both sides agreed for decades that we cannot drop these bombs, right? Because it was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, I think after dropping the bombs in Japan, I think 400,000 people over the course of 6 months died, because some people died because of the impact of the detonation of the nuclear bombs or the atomic bombs, and then the fallout is what killed most of the people, anyways, right? Over the long term. So the Soviets also, like, they started developing their own nuclear weapons and all that stuff, and then it got to the point where they had thousands, tens of thousands, of nuclear weapons, and then it was just like, we can't live in such paranoia of each other. But anyways, that's what the documentary is about. But I'm here to tell you about something else that I saw in the documentary. The United States, through the CIA, right, has been interfering with governments all over the world. And this is not secret. This is well known, well documented phenomenon, right? Certain governments were overthrown to put people in charge that would be advantageous to the United States and their international interests, especially against the Soviet Union, right? So even like the Vietnam War was not a fight for communism or against communism or whatever. It was because it was how the Russians and the Americans fought each other. That's what it was about. In Cuba, in Nicaragua, in Guatemala, in Venezuela, in Argentina, like all these countries, Latin American countries, the influence of American, secret dealings and manipulation is the reason why those countries are a mess right now, because some of those countries were perfectly fine, where it was a good government, people were doing well. But just because the president will decide, listen, we're going to nationalize our land, our farmland, so that more money can come into the hands of the citizens of my country, which is pretty good, I think. That's a good thing. But unfortunately, that land is owned by some giant American company that makes billions of dollars selling bananas or whatever, and then be like, we have to get rid of this president. Put another guy in charge that's gonna look after our interests financially. So that's also like and then the guy that they put in charge, he becomes a dictator, and he has a super oppressive regime. That limits people's freedoms in a big way. Whereas they were free before with the guy that was in charge before. They get rid of that guy, they overthrew him, and then put this government in place that so it's like they interfere, and then once the interference is over, they just leave. They don't make sure that everything's running smoothly afterwards. So I just wonder, like, how much has that been happening? Because that's what we know of, right? So surely there's things that they do that's like happening that's still secret, that we don't know about, right? So, and I think one of those things is manipulating the weather. I really do think so. And I don't think I'm crazy for saying that. I think there's a lot of evidence that points towards that. Not to say that I'm like some kind of expert, or I'm trying to prove this or whatever, but it's what I think. Okay, I'm entitled to my opinion because I'm a free man. But speaking of freedom, yesterday I was reading in this book in this book of Epictetus, The Teachings of a Stoic. Really cool thing. And I think I've explained it before. The book is basically one of Epictetus is a former slave who eventually becomes a teacher of philosophy, right? He gave a bunch of lectures, and people would come from all over the empire to come and listen to his lectures. And the book is basically, one of his students wrote down a lot of his lectures, right? And sorry, I can't believe I'm yawning so much. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe I need another cold shower. But anyways, So so I was reading in this book yesterday, and very interesting points to it. He was talking about freedom, and we have a lot of ideas about freedom, and everybody has different definitions of freedom. Some people say discipline is freedom. Some people say no rules, no restrictions, just chaos. That's freedom, and those are interesting. But Epictetus, he says, if you want to be someone who's free, you have to be someone who doesn't need. And he makes the case that a lot of the things you think you need are just things that you desire. The fact that you think you need to be comfortable, it's a desire. You want to be comfortable. You don't need to be comfortable. In fact, being comfortable is probably not the best thing for your development as a human being. Okay, as someone who wants to be strong and independent. And I think that's kind of what he's saying, is that to be free, to be independent, or to be free rather, is to be independent of desire. It's also to be free from impediments, meaning things that stand in your way. And that doesn't mean that things won't stand in your way. It just means that you're not going to let something stand in your way all the time. Meaning, if there's an obstacle, you're going to overcome it regardless of how difficult that obstacle is. And I like that. I like that very much, the idea that if I have a nice comfortable bed, which I don't, this bed is not comfortable, but at least I have a bed, so I'm thankful for that. I'm grateful for that. But anyways, being there in bed is comfortable, but I don't need it. I don't need comfort. You don't need a bed to sleep. You want a bed. It's nice to have, but you don't need it. You don't necessarily need shoes. You barely need clothes, dude. The only reason why you need clothes is to, cover up your dignity, to preserve your dignity, or to preserve the offense of others. But and I'm just trying to explore that. I'm trying to think, okay, Xavier, what do you think you need that you don't need? I definitely need to keep my body healthy. That's important. You need your body. But your body is only a vessel. And once that body, the vessel that holds who you are, is gone, it's done. It's also not really in your control. So if you're able to accept things that are not in your control, if you're able to do things that are in your control bravely and without hesitation, without fear, confidently, then you are free. And all of those things just sounds like everything we want. That's what we want. You don't want to be dependent on others or on things or on external things. You don't want that sort of dependence, because it's a scary place to be. And then only to realize, technically you're not dependent. You just think you're dependent on these things, And that's a powerful feeling, actually, to realize that it is only because I said so. It's only because I think so that I'm dependent on this. I'm not dependent on that, And then to take it a step further, you're like, the things that depend on me, those are the only things that I can control. Those are the only things I'm going to focus on. And that's freedom, dude. That's freedom. So even someone who's a slave can be free, because it's all in here. Freedom is here. Freedom is here. That's what I like. I really like that. So I've been trying to figure that out, like, in which ways am I truly free? And I think my aim truly in life is just to be able to do everything that I want to do, and whatever's not in my control, accept those things, and everything that is in my control, do something about it. And whether there's an obstacle in your path, you're going to overcome it. And whether, that's what it is. So I like that as a goal, as a form of how can I say, as a way of thinking, as a way of loving. Because that's also the thing, right? A philosophy is not just something that's discussed It's not just something that's read about, you know? You can discuss and read the Bible all you like, but if you don't act on the teachings that are in the Bible, then you've missed the point, you know? And the Bible, as much as it's a religion, you know, that people believe in God, and I'm one of those people. I do believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ and the resurrection and all those things. I truly believe all that, right? But if I don't live it, do I believe it? You know? If you don't live it, do you believe it? If you believe in love, but you don't treat everybody with love, do you believe in love then? You know? So that's what I love about Stoicism as well, because they say it like it is. They're like, hey, listen, if you're just here to listen to this lecture or to read this book and not do what you're learning, you are wasting your time. Man, I like that. I do like that, you know? But what's wrong with a little time wasting, huh? I also realized, like, lately I've also been, like, wasting a lot of time, you know, just scrolling through Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels and TikTok especially. Oh, man, that's a real killer right there, you know? But it's never every day. So I'm happy about that, you know? Because you know what happens, right? I'm there to post a video, a short clip or something. So I go in, and then it's something really cool, and I'm like, okay, I'll just check this video out, and then I'll post my clip. And I'm like, okay. Then I find myself scrolling, dude, and now 10 minutes have passed, 15 minutes have passed, 30 minutes have passed, you know? I don't appreciate that. It's really scary that the algorithm knows you so well, you know? And then if you want to throw AI into the mix, so imagine that the next step in evolution for technology, the next major step, because a lot of technology is especially the technology that reaches us as the end consumer, or the normal, you know, person in the world, is around entertainment and communication, right? So imagine what happens if you open something like TikTok, and because of AI generated images and videos that's so becoming more and more accurate and becoming more and more realistic and all those things, imagine if every time you scroll, because the algorithm that knows what you like just instantaneously generates those videos or images, to the point where you don't even get people who create content anymore. The app that you have is generating content anyways while you're watching. There's no need to share things anymore. Or maybe you do share it, and then if the person you share it with likes that you sent them, it starts including that particular set of criteria and dimensions and content. That type of content starts including that content in their AI algorithm, and then they start, you know, and then everything you scroll is just everything you like, and it's not anyone that created it, but AI that creates it in real time. You're gonna be stuck, dude. It's gonna, once you open that thing, it's done. We'll never see you again. And then you take that a step further, right? Then you take that Neuralink, right? And this is a real company that's working on a real thing, an implant that they put in your brain that has all these little wires that go into the different parts of your brain, and, you know, can shoot electrical impulses into the various parts of your brain. You know, eventually that's going to become so advanced and so developed that they're going to be able to do that, you know, feeding you with everything that you want to see in real time using AI generated videos and images and sounds and all that you're just going to be stuck. You're just going to be like, scary, dude. Scary. I don't want that at all. You know, let's slow down on technology. Let's really take it easy, man, because, like, where are we going with this? What's the mission? What are we trying to achieve? You know, I don't like that at all, man. I don't like that at all. But yeah, it's been a fun time. It's always a fun. Like, I think my life day to day is quite fun. Oh, you know what happened the other day? Also, like, I was performing with the school choir the school where I work at. They performed in front of the rest of the school. And it's so incredible, right? To see, and you feel a bit emotional when you see people who have worked so hard, over the course of months, right? Worked hard for months, and with various performances throughout those months where things haven't always gone according to plan. They haven't gone, like, extremely well. They haven't gone as expected. There was always some issue. And then finally that perfect performance happens, and you could see how they feel. You could see it on their faces, man. That is a priceless feeling. So I had the privilege of experiencing that this past week as well. So that's been really cool, But yeah, you know what I'm excited for? So I like watching football. There's only two sports that I truly follow. The one is the Premier League. And I say sports. I don't want to say I follow football, because football is a huge universe. There's so many different leagues. There's so many different players. Like, it's insane. And it's the biggest sport in the world, okay? So I can't follow all football. I only really follow the Premier League and then the Champions League, right? And so tonight is a Champions League match, dude. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. So I can't wait. And tonight is going to be, I think, Man City and AC Milan or Inter Milan. And those two teams were in a Champions League final like 2 seasons ago. So it should be an epic clash, And what I love about football is, like, you don't know what to expect. You really don't know what to expect. Which team is going to perform better? You don't know. There's so many factors, It could just be that, the one player who's important, his girlfriend is angry at him because she dreamt that he, I don't know, snuffed a girl's hair that she doesn't like. And that's what she dreamt about, and now she's upset with him, and that's affecting his game, because women can come out like that with such things. They get. I saw a video. I saw a video yesterday. I saw a video yesterday of this woman who asked her boyfriend a question and got upset at him because of her own question, right? So she was like, if you were in a room full of women and then I come in, would you still choose me? Something like that. And then he's like, why would I be in a room full of women? And then she's like, why would you be in a room full of... Like, she came up with a question, dude. What is happening right now? Anyways, so I'm sure maybe something like that can happen to a football player. And he's like maybe a very important player. And if he's on his game, the team is sure to win because everybody else is also on top of their game. But now he's not on his game, so he's not too focused, And then the team loses. That can happen, It can be the best team in the world, and then that happens, and then they lose, And that's what I love about football. It's so unpredictable, Sometimes it's predictable. Like if it's a team that tends to not have a very high success rate, playing a team that wins almost every game, you're like, we know what's gonna happen. But even then, it's not assured, And that's what I like. I like things that are unpredictable. Same thing with Formula One. That's the other sport that I follow. So I like watching the Premier League. I love watching the Champions League. And I love watching Formula One because Formula One is also this unpredictable sport, Sure, you get teams and drivers who tend to dominate a season. But even then, it's not always certain who wins the race. And even if you know who's going to be first and second and third, you don't know who's coming fourth or fifth or sixth, And that's always an interesting thing because there's also like points. So when I think there's 10 drivers 10 teams, but 20 drivers. Each team has 2 drivers. And, oh, sorry. I can't believe I'm yawning so much. How do I have so much energy and still yawn? That doesn't make sense. But okay. Nothing makes sense anymore, you know. I mean, my dreams look like AI images. I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. It's weird. Is it the Matrix? Is it not? Who knows? But anyways, so watching Formula 1 is also like, who's going to win the race? Who's going to crash? Is it going to be someone who's leading the race and then crashes because of the weather, because of rain, or some mistake that he or she makes? Okay, not she yet, but there will be female Formula 1 drivers. There have been and there will be. And that's going to be cool because you don't actually need to be, it's not gender dependent, you know? It's just that the sport has always been done by men and women don't tend to want to be race car drivers, but there's plenty of women who are. So I believe that's going to happen at some point, you know, just to bring it full circle about talking about men and women, which I did earlier in the episode. Anyways, so it will be interesting to see that because I don't think that there's a difference physically between men and women. Not physically, but when it comes to this particular sport, you know. But yeah, anyways, I'm not going to get too deep into that. But Formula 1 is cool because there's all kinds of unexpected things that can happen, you know. Like if it's raining, if it's a track where it's raining, that's they call it the great equalizer because nobody knows what's going to happen, you know. The person who normally wins might not do well, or maybe he will do well, and then the people who tend to finish second or third, maybe they won't do well, and then someone who's back of the grid sometimes will win, will end up winning the race, you know. That can happen, and that's what I love about Formula 1, dude. Like, it's not as predictable as what you think, you know. But yeah, that's always a fun thing to do. But anyways, I think I'll wrap this up here. You know, I am hungry. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Let's see how much time have we been on. Okay, we're almost an hour in. Yeah, I think I can go under an hour. I think that's fair. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do like and subscribe. Share it. Share the stuff I post on social media. Just search me on social media. Xavier Kutsia. You should probably find it there. And yeah, share the content if you like it. Don't just share it, you know. Share it if you like it, and it will really help, you know, the channel to grow and for it to eventually become, you know, something that's bigger than what it is right now. And that's always an important thing. I like the idea of building something, improving something, and getting to that point. So yeah, please like and share and subscribe. And yeah, what else can I say? Oh, just have a good one. And if you no, I always mess this part up. You know, it's weird actually. I don't know how to end the show. I need to figure that out actually. But I think what's important is don't forget to be good to yourself. Don't forget to be good to others. That's also important. And just love, man. Just love everything and everyone. I don't think you can go wrong. I think when some people are struggling in life, when some people are not having a good time of it, it's possible that they just need someone to love them. And then once that happens, it changes their life completely, you know? Someone could be on the edge of suicide, and that's just because they're missing some love. And then when you treat them with love, you take them out, you have a nice conversation with them, they can change their mind, you know? Then they're like, I'm not going to kill myself. Well, life is worth living. And it is, you know? So be good to yourself and be good to others. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.